हेलो डियर स्टूडेंट्स। आज हम टुडे वी डिस्कस डिवोर्स। डिवोर्स इज a second part of judicial remedy, matrimonial remedy. Other word we can say matrimonial remedies. Divorce is also one of the way of matrimonial remedy. Divorce means totally finish of the relation between marriage spouse. After the Hindu Marriage Act 1955, it was established that marriage was a civil contract. So after enactment of this Act 1955, we can say that Hindu marriage is not a sacrament, but it has become a contract partly, right? Because some grounds are available under Section 13 subclause 1 of the Act. On those grounds, not only husband but wife is also entitled to take degree of divorce. It means taking a divorce. The concept of Hindu marriage has become a civil contract. Now, once it becomes a contract, that next inevitable question, is it a dissoluble union? One times we can explain that Hindu marriage is an undissoluble union, but today it has become dissoluble dissoluble union, because although marriage had characteristic of a contract, most important being consent, it was always a sacrament and a special institution. So it is the ancient Hindu law. We already define the Hindu marriage totally a sacrament, not a contract. But after discussing the some theories which have been prescribed under the Hindu Marriage Act 1955, it means default theory, breakdown theory, mutual consent theory. So all theories, all principles provide us some grounds under this act. On those grounds, not only husband but wife both are entitled to take advantage of this act as a matrimonial remedies. Therefore, divorce is also one of them remedy. Divorce means if party is not ready to leave each others and they want to finish their marriage, then they can file they can file a suit in family court or in district court to take a degree of divorce against other person. Therefore, some principles laid down guilty theory of divorce. In the laws of England, Commonwealth countries, and in most states of the USA, the offense theory was considered to be the most appropriate basis of divor- divorce. According to this theory, a marriage can be dissolved if one of the parties to marriage. It means one of the parties has or after the solemnization of marriage. It means after marriage or before, after solemnization of marriage or before solemnization of marriage, committed some matrimonial offenses. So guilt theory defines some offenses. It's called matrimonial offenses. If matrimonial offenses is committed either by husband or wife, then victim party can challenge such offense and take advantage of Section 13 subclause 1 is defined as a divorce. The offense must be one that is recognized as a ground for divorce. It means matrimonial offences which have been prescribed under Section 30 subclause 1, which have been prescribed as a ground of divorce. So this implies that although the parties are free to enter into a contract of marriage, they are not so free to get out of it. It means after completion of marriage, neither spouse of the marriage are free to get out of it without following the judicial proceedings which have been prescribed under Hindu Marriage Act 1955 as well as Procedure Code, Civil Civil Procedure Code. It is very clear. Once marriage is completed, then Parties are not free to get out without following the judicial proceedings, which could into a contract of marriage. They are not so free. It must be done only on certain grounds prescribed by law. The guilty theory implies that whereas one of the marriage, one party to the marriage is guilty of matrimonial offences, that whereas one party to the marriage is guilty of matrimonial offences, the other party means victim person means innocent person. Since the guilty theory requires that the petitioner should be innocent means uh, fair victim person. The English law involved the doctrine of matrimonial bars, discretionary bars, and absolute bars. Under English law, the absolute bars are convenience and acquiescence in the misconduct of the respondent, coordination and collisions, whereas the discretionary bars are petitioners on adultery, cruelty, unreasonable delay, etc. Section 23 of the Hindu Marriage Act deals with matrimonial bars. Fault grounds of divorce like adultery, cruelty, and desertion, even after the amendment of 1976, are still a part of matrimonial laws of divorce. So, if grounds are available, as so all grounds which have been already prescribed under Section 10 of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 are today grounds of divorce. On those grounds, marriage may be dissolved by the victim party. Vipin Chandra Brahm Prabhavati, AIR 1957. This case is also very important case in respect of divorce. Under the Bombay High Court Bombay under the Bombay Hindu Divorce Act. Under Bombay Hindu Divorce Act, the Supreme Court of India drew largely from the English law in stating a number of broad general principles relating to desertion as a matrimonial offense in a branch of law rules of which are inspired by the English insofar as they enunciate and expound those principles are always of considerable guidance and assistance. In case of Vipin Chandra Prahavati, it is also very clear if one of them parties default to perform its duty against the other spouse, it means voluntary desertion is also one of them ground. On those ground, victim party may take a degree of divorce. It is very right. Narad declared, if the husband be missing or dead, retired from the world, or important, degraded. In these five calamities, a woman may take another husband. It means today marriage may be dissolved. It is not a sacrament, but it has become a contract, not 100% but partly. So some grounds are available. On those grounds, both husband or wife may take a degree of divorce. Therefore, marriage today marriage has become a contract. It is not purely sacrament, but it has become contract partly. Thank you.